Like when you bring up AI, like what are your thoughts around that? Because I have a lot of opinions that oddly have changed as things matured. But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of curious for you, like just observing how things are changing and new tech coming in. I don't know, like what are your thoughts on AI as it currently stands?
It's interesting. I mean, there's several different fields, as you know. I mean, from a creative direction standpoint, or putting together a deck and creating imagery or rapidly concepting something that doesn't need to be iterated upon, it's very cool. You can come up with some amazing things, but as soon as you get notes and you start needing to iterate upon something, that's where you really have to, it's just a lot of times at this point, it's quicker to go in and do what you need to do with the artistry. And again, back in the days of the optical printers and things of that nature, people talked about digital visual effects, and they're like, oh, it just is just that's going to replace us. Well, yes, digital did kind of replace analog in that way. But again, AI is a tool that you can leverage it if it's set up properly in an iterative way, but it's not something currently that's going to replace, again, the skillful execution and knowledge base of the artist, because it's that iterative and refinement that a lot of times it's kind of a black box. So you're not able to go in and just kind of nail down and hone a shot quickly. So again, for concepting, things of that nature, you can come up with some really cool stuff, but to repeat it, refine it, you can still leverage AI, but it's not AI itself. So it's not going to replace the skillful execution and the knowledge. It's training on existing data. And it's always making inferences for the most part. There are different models. So the experts in those could say, well, actually in this other way. So I am speaking in broad terms, but in terms of its application in visual effects, we can definitely leverage it. We can definitely use it to repeat existing things. We're using it to output sequences in the time that it used to take to output shots, but it's not standalone.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes a skillful team of artists to set up the process by which that's done. And that is something that's not going to change. So it's really about how you use the tool. And I mean, I always say the same stuff. So it's kind of like an axe. It can be really effective, or if you use it wrong, it can get really messy and really bad really quick.
Wise words. Hopefully there's no stenographer to say, well, you said this was going to only get messy. But I think you're absolutely right. Like that, I do think that over time, things are going to very shortly, continue to mature. And I was very surprised because I used to think, it's just a tool. It's like turning global illumination on. Every lighting artist would be like, well, I'm out of a job now. It's like, I'm still hiring a lighting artist. I do think that it won't really affect VFX for a few years. And that's not because AI isn't rapidly growing at a fast rate. It's because VFX as a machine doesn't really move as quick. But I do think it's still a machine. And end of the day, like you're going to be creating tools around it. It will become predictable because we'll, build tools that give us what we need to do. But, we're already using, training for nuke and things like that are useful, but it's not replacing us.
That's another arrow in the quiver. It's not something that you can just turn it loose and do its own thing. It has to be set up correctly, but it is fun. And in the right hands, it is very powerful, but it's not something I think some people are feeling it's going to replace us. And for really great artists, there's no, I don't see it doing that. I see it supporting. And you've probably heard me say this. For me, technology is like framework. We build it out more, and it allows us to do new and wonderful things. It's not just technology for the sake of technology. We still climb up on that scaffolding and create the mural and the art higher up the wall.